Hi everyone, welcome back to Elevated and Unapologetic. I am your host, Caitlin, and today we're talking all about isolation to experience. How do we cultivate new connections, new relationships as this new version of ourselves after we've done the healing work? You're never fully healed. You are never fully out of the healing era because we're always growing and evolving and healing ourselves. So I'm not saying that you're going to be completely healed, but this new version of yourself that is being called perhaps to have new experiences to further your growth is necessary and kind of where I'm at in my healing journey. I'm happy that you're here today. I would like you to grab a pen and a journal or a piece of paper or take some notes on your phone because I do ask questions because I think it's really important to ask deeper questions and be curious about ourselves. So I like to include that in my podcast. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into it. What does it look like to cultivate new relationships as this version of yourself, the version that has been healing, the version of yourself that has been learning to trust, the one that no longer tolerates disrespect, inconsideration, inconsistency, disrespect, did I say that already? This version of yourself now that has strong boundaries, confidence, and an inner knowing, an inner compass that you have learned to follow. When you've spent so much time in isolation and you come out on the other side as this version of yourself, you can't go back to the way things were. Things are not the same anymore because you have changed, therefore, so has your perspective of reality. And I really tried to put into words what I meant, and I'm reading it and I'm like, still is really hard to articulate how it feels to come out as like this version because you see things that you never saw before. I can read people really quickly and I can feel energy way better than I ever have. My intuition is heightened. I lead with my soul. I am aligned with myself and what I want and need and desire in life. And when you step outside into this world as this version of yourself, it is hard to go back to not knowing. Ignorance really is bliss sometimes. Like I go out into the world and I'm like, man, I remember that. I remember not knowing. And now that you know, you can't unknow it. Does that make sense? Probably not, unless you know. If you know, you know. It's possible that during this time you pulled away from people, you disconnected yourself from spaces and places that were not serving you. And I don't mean serving your ego, I mean serving you as in not fulfilling you in ways that you needed to be fulfilled, not nurturing, not deep, meaningful connections, surface level, maybe drama related, maybe trauma bonding. You pulled away from people that just did not fill your emotional and spiritual and, intellectual needs. And as you did that, you realized who was really there for you, who checked in on you, who was there when no one else was. And as you reemerge and maybe perhaps start rediscovering these connections again, reaching out to people and trying to see if there is still some sort of connection for you, you realize that these aren't your people. And you have an understanding of what it means to let people go because you've already started the process in your healing journey. But when you reemerge as this person, and then you really have to cut it off. I find it really difficult with family. The family ties that we have, those bonds are so strong. I was raised in foster care, so my bonds with family is a little different, but I do help people in my coaching calls who are disconnecting from family and letting those relationships shift and change. They're still connected, but there's really strong boundaries. Such strong boundaries that you protect yourself. You do what you need to do, and you are no longer appeasing or shape-shifting or molding yourself to fit into these spaces that you know are not good for you. When you were in hiding, right? When you were that version of yourself that hid your talents and maybe allowed yourself to not share or express yourself to the world, what did that version of you intuitively know? What was the whisper? Do you remember? Do you remember what you wanted back then? Do you remember sitting in spaces and places or relationships that just didn't feel right? allow yourself to reflect. Allow yourself to remember what that felt like. And then as you're emerging into this version of yourself going forward, trust that inner wisdom. Trust that inner knowing, because you know what it was like when you were in hiding, when you were hiding that real version of yourself. I've felt this before, like being in spaces and I'm like, I hear that inner voice saying, not this isn't what I want. And I'm like, oh, there she is. But she's louder this time. This time she's like, no. And she's a little sassy. I don't know about you, but my inner dialogue is very sassy. She's like, no, we're not doing this. This is not for us. This is not where you need to be right now. And I like that for me because I'm not normally sassy in real life. So having that inner dialogue, I just feel a little bit more like confident. And I'm like, yeah, girl, no. Like, no, where are we going today? What are we going to do? Sometimes I really enjoy allowing her to lead, letting her take me where we want to go. What are we going to do today? What are we feeling? And it is good to continue to practice that in small ways every day. We talked about this in a previous podcast, but especially when you are interacting with people, then you're getting that dialogue again, like, not this. It comes up with family. Family is probably the easiest place to put these things into practice just because they're your family. You grew up with these people and your inner dialogue will come out a lot, especially when you have toxic relationships with family. It'll come up and you're able to put that boundary in and step away. I know it's hard. I keep saying it. I know it's hard, but it is necessary. Isolation was not the final destination. It was the cocoon for you to grow and expand and be in the goo and then emerge and to fulfill your whole story, because you being in this part is not your whole story. It is a chapter of your story and one that is going to shape the rest of your book. So what does it look like to re-enter the world as the human that you've become? That's a question. Write it down. What does it look like? What does it feel like to embody this version of yourself moving into the world now? What do you want it to look like? Maybe you could expand on that. What are you hoping for? What are you excited for? What do you want to discover about yourself now? Is there a craft that you want to try? Is there hobbies that you want to dive into? Are there sports that you want to try? Do you want to date? Do you want to be alone? What do you want? This is your chance to really write down the things that you are excited for, maybe the things that you are afraid of. And as you move forward, you can reflect back on this part of dreaming and realize, yeah, this was really in alignment and this is what I want. I think it's important to journal. I really do. And I tell all my clients this, and now I'm telling the world, journal, write it down, because when we reflect on those, we can see how far we've come. It is a living proof document of your life and your journey. Also, take a lot of pictures. You are never going to be this young again. Whatever age you are right now, this is a tangent, but you're never going to be this young again. Take the pictures. You're never going to be this size, this age, this vibrant, whatever it may be. You're always changing and evolving and growing. And I think documenting ourselves is also really helpful. So take the pictures, okay? Take your selfies. Take pictures of the world around you. I don't know. It's nice. That wasn't written down, but here we are. So for me, I noticed that I became softer as I emerged into the new world. Like, I really enjoy nature. As you know, if you follow me, you know that I love nature. I love being around children and animals and birds and the bees. And I love being outside, and I love being around kids, because kids are so much fun. Who doesn't love hanging around kids? And I'm so much softer, but my boundaries, strong. I have a no bullshit tolerance, and I do not tolerate disrespect. I will not be manipulated. And so I can be kind with strong boundaries. Sometimes people think I'm a bitch, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people's opinions of me, because it's none of my business. What you think about me, none of my business. Eyes in my own lane. I used to trauma dump to solidify connections. I used to overshare in order to be liked. If I shared my story with every person I came in contact with, I knew that there was going to be some sort of connection because they would feel something towards me, like sympathy. If I met someone, I'd be like, oh yeah, I lost my daughter Jocelyn. And immediately there's like a connection because people are like, oh my gosh, what happened? Now I get to share about myself and people get to learn about me immediately. Now, I don't tend to overshare. I don't allow people access to me until I know who you are. Who are you? What do you value? How do you show up in the world? How do you move in the world? What is important to you? Do we line up? And then you get to understand and know who I am. Then you get to come into my inner circle. My inner circle is really, really, really small, really, really tight because I need people around me that are my ride or die. I don't want superficial fake people around. I just don't, because I'm not that way. So I don't want people like that around me. And I really don't care about having a large group of people. I don't care about having a large circle of friends to hang out with. I like it small. I like it intimate. I like it deep and meaningful and impactful, not only for me, but also for my children, to have really great people around me to support me, to, allow me to show up exactly as I am. And I will be really transparent with you right now. I am probably one of the hardest people to get along with because I say what I mean and mean what I say. And if this is going to trigger you or hurt you, I say it anyway. I like to see how far I can kind of push the limits with people. I know it's toxic. I get it. That can be a toxic trait. But if the people around me know that I am this way and I push people to a limit because I want people to be vulnerable and open with me. So I don't push people to the limit as in like detrimental to their health or their mental health or anything of that nature. It's more of like pushing people past their own limiting beliefs. And I want the best version of you in my life. So naturally, I push people and help people to get to where they want to be, and vice versa. I love a good challenge. Maybe that's the word, challenging. I want people to challenge me. People who are closest to me, I want them to challenge me because that's how you grow. So what does it feel like to no longer shrink to make others comfortable? What does it feel like to hold your own morals and your values and to stand in the person that you are, unwavering? What does it feel like to have that kind of confidence? Do you know yet? If you don't put it into practice, how are you going to know? If you don't put yourself in rooms where you can stand in this version of yourself, unwavering, confident, how do you know that you have done the work necessary to get there? I know it's scary. Trust me, I get it. Been there, done that. And I literally will throw myself into environments where I have to put these things into practice because there is no way you are going to really truly know yourself unless you push yourself outside your comfort zone, unless you put yourself in these positions to stand with yourself, to stand in that power. If it's family, this is something that, again, I have worked with clients on. If it is family, go to that birthday party. Go to the niece's birthday party, put yourself in that position because you know you can leave. Don't start off with Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. Start off with the smaller family gatherings. Put yourself in that position and see what it feels like to just arrive and be there. And if you are feeling uncomfortable, you are allowed to leave. Give yourself permission to leave these spaces if you are uncomfortable or if you are not feeling like you can show up as yourself. Okay? I want you to understand that you are the most important person in your life and you need to treat yourself as such. I know it can be lonely, okay, for people to get the new version of you, to people to fully understand who you are, because not everybody is going to understand this version of yourself. Not everybody's going to like you, okay? We've already said that. Mind your own business. It's none of your business what people think about you. It's none of your business if they are jealous or envious or have an opinion about you. Who cares? Let them talk. They're going to talk because, excuse me, you've done the work. And now you're this new version of yourself. So of course they're going to talk. They're going to be like, who the fuck is this? That's right. That's right. It's a new version. It's a new day. But this version of yourself also deserves the new experiences, the new environments, the new conversations. It the new love, the new relationships, the new opportunities that are going to be coming your way. So allow those things to come into yourself, because baby, you've worked really, really hard to get here, and you deserve all the good that's going to come from the work that you've put in. Don't go backwards. Okay, it is important sometimes to revisit the past to just see how far you've come, but don't get stuck back into your old cycles. Okay, and if you find yourself that you are getting stuck in those cycles, link in the bio, let's hop on a call so you don't go backwards and have to replay the same narratives over and over again in your new story, because that is not helpful. The only way to learn and continue to grow as this version of you is to get outside your damn house, okay? You need to go out and experience life. Summer is upon us, okay? There is so much life happening outside right now with nature, the birds and the bees, okay? And events are going to be happening. Go to a farmer's market, go try a new hobby, go meet people, do what you need to do. Get outside of your house, okay? I know it's scary, okay? I know it's scary, but baby, how are you going to put these things into practice? We've already discussed this. How are you going to do that if you're stuck inside the house watching Netflix or doom scrolling? After you're done this podcast, put your phone down and maybe like sit at a window. Work your way up to getting outside. All right, you ready? Let's talk about building relationships. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. What does it look like? We're talking friendship, romantic love, community. It all starts with this question. Does this connection reflect the version of me that I have fought so hard to become? Write that down. Does this connection reflect the version of me I fought so hard to become? Does this connection honor my values? Does this connection fit in the life that I am building and working towards? Really hard questions to answer, but it's important to analyze this, because the more that we analyze our circumstances, the more that we really look and zoom out of our life and see what's going on, the more we can understand. And going forward, the more that we can trust ourselves. When we want to make quick decisions, once we do these like micro habits of like reflecting, going forward, it will become super quick for you. You'll be like, yes, we're in alignment. Yes, I want this, because you've already programmed yourself to understand what you're looking for. But sometimes we need that reflection in order to see and to really articulate and program our brains to know what we're looking for going forward, especially since we haven't had that, what we're seeking, we haven't had that yet. I hope I'm making sense. Let me give you an example, okay? So let's say you're looking for a friendship. What is it in that friendship that you are looking for to add to your life? Or what kind of characteristics do they have? I'm not talking like what kind of job they have. As a human being on the planet, what characteristics are important to you in a friend? Is it loyalty? Is it, are they religious? Do they practice a religion? Do they have the same hobbies as you? Or do you want someone who is like your yin to your yang? What is it that is important to you? Because if you're looking for a best friend, if you're looking for friendship, you want to be able to know when someone is for you. And I'm not saying that every single person that you come in contact with, you're going to have to do this analytical thinking. It will become easier as you move through the world, because you are going to understand your values and morals. Therefore, you know what you're looking for going forward. Does that make sense? Because aligned relationships feel safe, reciprocal, and they challenge you, but they never drain you. Again, I love to be challenged. I love a good challenge. I love when people challenge what I say. Like if I'm saying something today, challenge me in the comment section. And while you're there, subscribe and send this to someone else. But while I'm on here, if you are like, that doesn't make sense, or I challenge your view on something, I love it. I love a good conversation about things, because that's how I learn. I want to learn. I want to grow. Yes, I'm never going to be done, ever. I want to learn for the rest of my life. This is a really hard part of the journey, and I know I've talked about it in the beginning, but I want you to be able to give yourself permission to outgrow people and let them go by saying thank you. Thank you for the role that you played in my life. Thank you for the season. Thank you for the knowledge and the wisdom that you left. Thank you for making a mark in my life. Letting people go is so hard, but necessary, especially if we've outgrown the relationship, especially if we feel like there is no forward momentum. We need to let it go. When it serves its purpose, baby, just let it go. It's okay. I want you to ask yourself, where would the version of yourself go that is healed? Not the wounded self that goes backwards to familiar spaces and places that you used to hide yourself in. Where would you go as the healed version of yourself? I want you to remember that we are comfortable in familiar pain because we know what to expect. So I'm going to use myself as an example because I do this. I am notorious for reaching out to past partners. I know. I tell you to let people go all the time. And here I am reaching out to ex-partners. Why do I do that? Because I am comfortable in the familiar pain. This is something that I'm working through in real time. Okay. I know to let certain people and places and spaces go, and they are not serving me. They cannot come with me into where I'm going. However, the inner part of me is comfortable in the familiar pain because I know what to expect back there. I know what to expect in that situation. I know the pain that I'm going to have to go through, and I'm comfortable in that pain, which is sad. I don't want to be comfortable in the pain. I want to be comfortable in the love and the abundance and the prosperity that awaits me. But somehow, somewhere in me, the program is, no, let's go back. Let's get some more pain. Let's go get some more trauma. No. So unfortunately for me, I have to block and delete and really shut it down. And I do that for my own sanity. I don't necessarily do that for the ex-people that I've dated or been in relationship with or situationship with. You know what I mean? Undefined relationships. If you are at this point in your journey, I encourage you to try one new experience. Go somewhere, say hi to a stranger, strike up a conversation while you're in the park walking your dog. I don't know what it is. Do it. This is your challenge. Do it. Do it before the next podcast. And let me know in the comment section what you did. Let this version of you take up so much space in the world. There's just be abundantly spacious. Look at us coming to the end of our podcast. How are we doing out there? How are you feeling? Round of applause for you, doing all the hard work. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. I'm so proud of you for doing the hard work. I really am. I know how hard it is. I know I sit on here and I talk a big talk, but it is possible for you to come out the other side. Embrace this new version of yourself. If this resonated with you today, I hope you'll give me a follow. Check out the other podcasts if you haven't already. And I will be back with another episode next week. So keep shining your light so bright, baby. I can't wait for the world to meet you. I love you. Have a great day. Okay, bye.